Oh, what do we got here? TheAmericanConservative.com. Now that sounds like a site that I could appreciate. Mueller's investigation is missing one thing. What is it? A crime. Hold on. I still got it. I gotta do it.
We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, it's too much winning.
Can we at least have a crime? If you had something on Trump, we would have been watching impeachment hearings by now. Says Peter Van Buren, who's writing this article. A baby born when Robert Mueller started his investigation would be talking by now. But would she have anything to say? We last looked at what Mueller has publicly said and what he didn't have. Oh, hold on. At what public had publicly. No. J-Snip, settle down, son. Start over. All right, here I go. Let me do it like Robbie Parker. Hi, my name's J-Snip. We last looked at what Mueller had publicly and what he didn't have some 10 months ago. And I remain skeptical that the Trump campaign had in any way colluded with Russia. It's worth another look now, but first let's give away the ending. Spoiler alert, there's still no real evidence of, well, much of anything significant about Russiagate. One thing that is clear is that the investigation seems to be ending. Mueller's office has reportedly even told various defense lawyers that it is, tying up loose ends. The moment to wrap things up is politically right as well. The Democrats will soon take control of the House. Time to handle this all off to them. 10 months ago, the big news was Paul Manafort flipped. That seems to have turned out to be mostly a bust. As we now know, he lied like a rug to the feds and cooperated with the Trump defense team as some sort of mole inside Mueller's investigation. A heavily redacted memo about Manafort's lies released by Mueller on Friday, adds no significant new detail to the Russiagate narrative. George Papadopoulos, isn't that kind of a cool name? Like, if you had the opportunity to change, like really easy, like just click a button, would you change your last name to Papadopoulos? Doesn't that sound kind of neat? George Papadopoulos, Jim Papadopoulos, Joe or Joseph Papadopoulos. Like it kind of fits everybody's name. Karen Papadopoulos, Jason Papadopoulos, Mark Papadopoulos, Jabroni. Jabroni doesn't fit. George Papadopoulos has already been in and out of jail all of 2 weeks for his sideshow role. Michael Avenatti is now a woman beater who is just figuring out he's washed up. Stormy Daniels owes Trump now $300,000 in fees after losing to him in court. And remember, once she paid $200 or $300K, gone. You know she already spent most of it, of course. You owe that for Mr. Trump. Oh, excuse me, sorry, President. Pardon me. You owe that to President. He's not my president. Oh, he's your president. Just like Obama, unfortunately, was my president at one time. George Bush Jr., unfortunately, was my president at one time. Bill Clinton, unfortunately, was my president at one time. Papa Bush, unfortunately, was my president at one time. George, where was I? Stormy Daniels owed him over $300,000 in fees after losing to him in court. There still is no P-tape. Oh, there's a P-tape. There's a P-tape he peed on. Oh, no, never mind. I guess not. And if you don't recall how unimportant Carter Page and Richard Gates turned out to be, or even who they are, well, there's your assessment of all the hysterical commentary that accompanied them a few headlines ago. The big reveal of the Michael Flynn sentencing memo on Tuesday was that he will likely do no prison time. Everything of substance in the memo was redacted, so there is little insight available. If you insist on speculation, try this. It's hard to believe that something really big and bad happened, such as Flynn knew about it, but still wasn't worth punishing for it. And now, a year after he started cooperating with the government, still nobody has heard anything about whatever the big deal is. So chances are the redactions focus on foreign lobbying or something in the U.S. This week's key to everything is Michael Cohen, the guy who lied out of self-interest for Trump until last week, when we learned he is also willing to lie or, testify against Trump out of self-interest. I guess he does both. If you take his most recent statements at face value, the sum is the failed negotiations to build a Trump hotel in Moscow, which went on for a few months longer than was originally stated, and that we all knew about already. In other words, this is what the FBI will get you on, these criminals. Give them statement. When do you think that happened? I think it lasted about 4 months. It actually lasted 6 months. Like lied, perjury. You're going to prison. I'm sorry for what? For what? Perjury. But what? What did I do? What did I say? I told you the truth. You said 4 months. It was 6 months. That's the shit they try to pull on people. They've weaponized our justice system. They've weaponized the ABC agencies. CIA has been weaponized from day one. That's what its job was to do. FBI weaponized. Justice Department weaponized. Judges that are handpicked by these presidents weaponized. Meanwhile, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York submitted a sentencing memo Friday for Cohen, recommending a 42-month jail sentence. In a separate filing, Mueller made no term recommendation but praised Cohen for his significant efforts to assist the special counsel's office. The memos reveal no new information. So when Mueller says significant efforts, that's the old college try. Hey, son, kind of like our fake elections. 51-49, we'll get him next time. We gave it the old college try, we'll get him next time. That's what that means. Significant effort that led nowhere. Boy, he gave us everything we asked for, but not exactly the answers we wanted. He gave it the old college try. That's what that means. Call it sleazy if you want, but looking into a real estate deal is neither a high crime nor a misdemeanor. Even if it's in Russia or some other country, it doesn't matter. And it was before the presidency. It had nothing to do with anything. It is a private matter that didn't pan out. Oh, he didn't get to build his Trump Tower in Russia. So what? So what? Show us the tax returns. Notice how these people don't talk about that anymore. The tax, again, they just jump from one thing. What else can we do? Tax returns. Okay. Russiagate. Porn star. Okay, what's next? His lawyer lied. But what does that have to do with him? Well, I don't know, but whatever. What's next? Give me something next. What is next? Conspiracy law requires an agreement to commit a crime, not just the media declaiming that Cohen was communicating directly with the Kremlin. Talking about meeting Russian persons is not a crime, nor is meeting with them. The takeaway that this was all about influence shopping by the Ruskies falls flat. If Putin sought to ensnare Trump, why didn't he find a way for the deal to actually go through? Mueller has to be able to prove actual crimes by the president, not just twist our underclothes into weekly conspiratorial knots. For fun, look here at the creative writing needed to even suggest anything illegal. That doesn't sound like Trump's on thin ice with hot shoes. He has a little link up there somewhere. It is useful at this point of binge watching the Mueller miniseries to go back to the beginning. The primordial ooze for all things Russiagate is less than complete intelligence alleging that hackers linked to the Russian government stole emails from the Democratic National Committee in 2016. The details have never been released. No U.S. law enforcement agency has ever seen the server or scene of the crime, and Mueller's dramatic indictments of said hackers released as Trump met with Putin in Helsinki will never be heard of again or challenged in court, as none of his defendants will ever leave Russia. Meanwhile, despite contemptuous denials of the same, it is somehow now accepted knowledge that the emails and Facebook ads had some unproven major effect on the election. The origin story for everything else, that Trump is beholden to Putin for favors granted or via blackmail, is opposition research purchased by the Democrats and carried out by an MI6 operative with complex connections into American intelligence, the salacious Steele dossier. The FBI, under a Democratic-controlled Justice Department, then sought warrants to spy on the nominated GOP candidate for president based on evidence paid for by his opponent. I mean, let's just think about this for 1 second. Two people running, fair game, good luck, good game. Okay, let's go. You see who, look, best man or woman win. All right, take care. and they're illegally paid for to get the illegal information to illegally spy on you with fake information paid for on their opponent. Yet the real spark was the media, inflamed by Democrats searching for why Trump won, because it can't be anything to do with Hillary and all white people in the Electoral College are racist. Just doesn't hold up. Their position was and is that Trump must have done something wrong, and Robert Mueller, despite help squash a Bush-era money laundering probe, lying about the Iraq War, and flubbing the post-9/11 anthrax investigation, has been resurrected with Jedi superpowers to find it. It might be collusion with Russia or WikiLeaks or a P-tape or taxes, packaged as hard news but reading like Game of Thrones plot speculation. None of this is journalism to be proud of, and it underlies everything Mueller is supposedly trying to achieve. As the New York Times said in a rare moment of candor, from the day the Mueller investigation began, opponents of the president have hungered for that report or an indictment waiting just around the corner as the source text for incantation to whisk Mr. Trump out of office and set everything back to normal again. That's true. And like I said, tax problems, bad real estate deal, P-tape, taxes, porn star. You know what that is? When cops stop somebody illegally, they just pissed them off for some reason or another. They stop somebody illegally, and then the person knows it and starts back-talking the cop, and now the cop's pissed because you're not respecting my authority. He goes back to, I'll be with you in a minute, goes back to his, what am I stopped for? I'll be with you in a minute. And he's going back, he's calling his sergeant, he's calling his friends in the police department, and he's trying for, what can I get this guy for? What can I nail him? I want to just pile charges on this guy. What can I get him for? And they have to figure out, so they got to find something. Well, when he was changing lanes, it was a dotted line, and then it turned into a solid line. All 3 of the 4 tires did it safely, but that left rear, the last minute, it just barely touched the solid white line. I'll get him for that. And then you go to court. Mr. Officer, what did you see? What did you witness? I witnessed him cross a solid line. Mr. Sir, did you do that? Absolutely not. Did either of you have video evidence? No, not typically. No. I'm going to rule in favor of the police officer. Why? Why don't you rule in favor of me? Because that's the way it goes. So in other words, we'll find anything. We can find something. Nobody's perfect. There's no perfect person in the world. Somebody's committed a crime. They say you commit crimes every day, and you don't even know it. You could, whether it's a traffic infraction or whatever, you're committing them every day. We got it. We can get something on Trump. Let's do this, and they can't. This guy, Trump, he is so badass that they can't even use the tactics they use on the normal jabroni they want to just throw under the bus. 6 months. Oh, he said 6 months. It was 4 months. Perjury. He lied. The core problem, at least that we know of, is that Mueller hasn't found a crime connected with Russiagate that someone working for Trump might have committed. His investigation to date hasn't been a search for the guilty party, Colonel Mustard in the library, so much as a search for an actual crime. Some crime, any crime. Yet, all he's uncovered so far are some old financial misdealings by Manafort and chums, payoffs to Trump's mistresses, potentially, that are not in themselves illegal. Listen, we had sex before. I'm going to be taking political office soon, I think. NDA, because you don't want the whole world knowing that business. That's fine. None of it was illegal. The NDA wasn't illegal. Having sex with Stormy Daniels, if he did, it's not illegal. Not at all. Therefore, even if anything comes to that, it means nothing. Manafort and chums pays off the Trump's mistresses that are not in themselves illegal, despite what prosecutors simply assert in the Cohen sentencing report. Someone will have to prove to a jury that the money was from campaign funds and the transactions were for the purpose of influencing federal elections, not simply protecting his family from shame, and a bunch of people lying about unrelated matters. And that's the giveaway to Mueller's final report. There was no base crime as the starting point of the investigation. With Watergate, there was the break-in at the Democratic National Headquarters. With Russiagate, you had Trump winning the election. That's it. Remember, too, that the FBI concluded forever ago that the DNC hack crime was done by the Russians. Well, no Mueller needed then, huh? Almost everything Mueller has, the perjury and lying cases, are crimes he created through the process of investigating. He's Schrodinger's box. The infractions only exist when he tries to look at them. Mueller created most of his booked charges by asking questions he already knew the answers to, hoping his witness would lie and commit new crimes literally in front of him. Nobody should be proud of lying, but it seems a hell of a way to contest a completed election as Trump enters the third year of his term. Mueller's end product, his report, will most likely claim that a lot of unsavory things went on, but it seems increasingly unlikely that he'll have any evidence Trump worked with Russia to win the election, let alone that Trump is now under Putin's control. If Mueller had a smoking gun, we would be watching impeachment hearings by now. Instead, Mueller will end up concluding that some people may have sort of maybe tried to interfere with an investigation into what turned out to be nothing, anyways. Another crime that exists only because there was an investigation to trigger it. He'll dump that seeming pile of legal ambiguity into the lap of the Democratic House to hold hearings on from now until global warming claims the city of Benghazi and returns it into the sea. That or the 2020 election, whichever comes first. Peter Van Buren, a 24-year State Department veteran, is the author of We Meant Well, How I Helped Lose the Battle for the Hearts and Minds of the Iraqi People, and Hooper's War, a novel of World War II Japan. Take care.